Hi, I'm Sam. I'm the co-founder of Kingdom Impact Lab with my wife Tattoo. And in this video, I want to talk to you about why you need to anchor your identity in Christ. Why this is your rock, your foundation for everything that you do in your business, in your life, and how everything else is going to flow from this foundation. So first, with these videos that I'm recording here, my purpose is to approach it in the same way that Jordan Peterson approaches his lectures. I want to have the mindset that I'm going in with an attempt to answer the question or to develop my own understanding more. And as the saying goes, a wise person once said to me that the person who learns the most is the teacher or the coach. I want to deepen my own understanding. That's what I'm passionate about. And then the more I teach, the better teacher I become, the better I am at communicating things. And I want to invite you on that journey as well. And so the topic I'm going to explore in this video is why you need to anchor your identity in Christ. On the previous two videos, I probably spent over an hour, closer to an hour and a half, talking about all of the pains and struggles that I've gone through before in my life as an atheist, focusing on transactional worldly goals like money, all of the pains and problems I had in my business, and the solution, my journey, and everything. So if you want to listen to me ramble on about that and about my own personal story and the problems, and feel free to check them out. If not, this video here is going to explore why you need to anchor in Christ. If you see me looking down, I do have some points here that I want to explore. Normally when I do videos, I don't even look at the notes I've got, but in this case I do have something here just to record videos in batches. So let's dive in. So why do you need to anchor your identity in Christ? So first of all, let's look at why you need an anchor, and why you need to anchor on rock. So I forgot where it's mentioned in the Bible, but there is the story about the wise man who built his house on solid rock and the one who built his hands on sand. And when the storm came, the one on the house built on rock, on a firm foundation, remained. The one that was built on sand, just disintegrated. Why do you need a solid foundation? And the solid foundation here is your identity in Christ. And then why do you need the anchor? So first of all, let me share my own story. This is a different aspects of the story compared to the other videos, and that is my anchor. So let me step back. So before we talk about how to anchor on solid rock, we need to talk about a hierarchy of priorities. What do I mean by a hierarchy of priorities? That is that in your life, work, business, whatever it is, you have a whole bunch of different goals and different things that you're trying to achieve. Some are small goals, like you've got to wash the dishes after you've eaten so that they're going to be clean tomorrow. And other goals are even higher, at the highest possible, such as you might be operating a business with the goal of impacting as many people as possible and then stewarding your resources for Kingdom Impact so you can invest into different projects, yada yada yada. Which one's more important? Well, obviously you're going to prioritize operating your business if you're helping other people to spread Kingdom Impact over washing your dishes, which is why people might hire a maid or a cleaner, especially when I live in Malaysia. in order to help with the household things, so you can prioritize higher order goals. Well, likewise, you've got some goals which are negative, self-destructive, like phone addiction, compulsively checking your phone, checking your emails, checking messages. I admit that I have that problem sometimes with email. That gives you instant gratification, but it is not the most important thing to do in the long term. Focusing on the growth of your business is more important than checking an email right now, as an example. And then you can expand your goals from daily goals to weekly goals, monthly goals, longer. With shorter goals will be, I know people who their entire life is around hitting the goals that they set for this month, but they lack the ability, for whatever reason, to see further than a month. They can't articulate what the big picture is. Frankly, I've spoken to people that they don't even know what the purpose of what they're doing, of why they're working, is beyond hitting these goals. Why am I hitting these goals? Because that's what the company's told me to. They don't understand the bigger picture. And then you've got people that the bigger goals, quarterly goals, yearly goals, 5-year goals, etc., and all the way up to eternal goals. Each of these goals that you have, as well as individual goals throughout your day, they have to have some kind of order, and you have to know which goal is more important and which to focus on, and which goals that you need to sacrifice in order for the pursuit of the more important goal. Okay, that's complicated. If you don't understand, if I've been unclear, I apologize. What I'm trying to say here is that you have certain things that you want to do in your life. Some are more important than others. The important thing to do is you need to know which ones are more important, and then be willing to stop doing the things that are less important, so that you can pursue the ones that you perceive to be more important. That is the concept I'm trying to talk. This is a concept, I think it was developed by Carl Jung, who was a psychologist. It's called the existential hierarchy. It's something that's spoken about by Jordan Peterson a lot. And it's basically, you need to find what's the most important goal and then stop doing everything else so you can focus on it. So what is the most important goal? Your most important goal at the top is what becomes, let's say, your North Star. If it's chasing money is what your priority is. That ends badly, usually, for a lot of people, especially Christians. It's not the way to do it, because it's a misalignment with what's in the Bible. Check out some of the previous videos, the previous 2 videos I did, if you want me to explain that or go into that in a bit more detail. So what you need to do is, and the reason why money is not a good goal is because if you if money becomes your foundation, the pursuit of money always changes. It moves. One day it's here, one day it's here, one day it's here, one day it's here, all kinds of things. So for example, let's say that you need to make a certain amount per month, and some days in the month you make less than others. So one day your goal, if your goal is to make 1,000 a month, let's say, so that would work out to be what, let's just say 30 a day, just for numbers' sake. So let's say you make, for the first week, you make what you're supposed to make, 30 a day, 30 a day, 30 a day, and then the second week you make 10 a day. All of a sudden the goal seems further away, and then you have a good day, and then you make a lot of money, so the goal seems closer. Every day the motivations, the emotions, everything you do is changing. There's nothing solid to anchor it into, and then when you achieve that goal, well, you want to make more. That's the natural next step up, is you will make 1,000 this month, you want to make more next month, and so it constantly keeps changing. What happens if your goal constantly keeps changing? Well, how do you know what you're aiming for? If your goal keeps changing, how do you know what you're gonna aim for. And how do you know when you've achieved it? If you keep moving the target, you keep changing what it is. An example would be, imagine you've got a dartboard, and then imagine you're blindfolded. And so in scenario 1, you throw your 3 darts in the general direction of the dartboard. You know where the dartboard is. Okay, this time you need, second time, blindfolded, you throw the darts. Probably going to be closer. You do that a few times, you're probably going to hit the dartboard even if you're blindfolded, because every time you throw, you take the blindfold off, you see where you missed. Okay, you put your blindfold on, you recalculate, you refine every time, you get better and better and better and more accurate at hitting your target. That's if the dartboard doesn't move. If it doesn't move, it's a solid foundation, it's where it is all the time. Now what if every time that you put your blindfold on, you threw your 3 darts, but the second time the dartboard moved? You still throw your 3 darts and you're going to hit the board? Probably not. You don't have any chance to use your past experience of where you threw the first time and how you missed to recalculate, recalibrate and try to refine the fine motor movement of where you're throwing your hand to hit the board. You don't have that, because every time it's random and you've started from zero. You can't learn from your past experiences. So what you want, if you chase money, the goal is always moving. If you chase something that is built on solid foundation, it doesn't move. You can make progress towards it, and you can make meaningful progress towards it. The key word is meaningful progress. That's why you need a solid foundation, and you need the anchor, because if you don't have the anchor, if you don't know what you're aiming for, you can never make meaningful progress towards it. That's why you need the anchor. So why do you need to anchor your identity in Christ? So the short answer is that if you don't, your identity and purpose will drift into self-interest, pride, and other negative, kind of sinful, self-destructive behaviours. It will naturally tend towards that. If you don't anchor your identity in Christ, success that you have, worldly success that you have, will anchor in pride. You think it's you. When you fail and things don't work out, you will feel despair, disillusionment, which are all the things I felt in my marketing agency before. Both are negative. Flip that around to the identity in Christ, which is humble service. I remember someone that came to my church. Nehemiah Lee, his name was. The same Nehemiah, however you pronounce the word from the Bible, who built the wall. Well, his business was basically building walls in Malaysia. He built the business up on integrity, blah, blah, blah. I bought his book. And he said something in the book which I have written down, and I use it as a prayer on a regular basis, and that is to remember that all success is down to the Lord, all failure is a result of you. And then having that mindset there that, well, all success is not down to you, but if you fail, then it is down to you. It prevents you from having pride. It has that humble mindset, because you can't control everything, and you don't want to have pride, because pride leads to narcissism and arrogance, and that's just a downward spiral. And then likewise, if you fail, for somebody like me, and probably for Nehemiah Lee, that when he mentioned that all failure is down to you, for my case, for someone that has the growth mentality, it's a motivating force, because for me personally, I believe that my full potential is, well, if you anchor your identity in Christ, Christ is infinite, eternal, perfect, and therefore my full potential for kingdom impact, and what I do is infinite, eternal, and perfect, something that I can never achieve. It means that what I actually do in my life as a result of the accumulation of decisions I make on a daily basis, weekly basis, whatever, over long periods of time is pretty much down to me, rather than, it's a motivating force kind of thing. Other people probably, it's not a good idea to think that the failure is a result of you, because your identity in Christ means that, salvation is by faith and not by what you do. So it prevents you from going down the negative spiral of what I did before, and that is comforting, that is helpful, that allows you to remain motivated and to persevere, as you are. When you have the identity in Christ as well, it empowers you to go and fulfill your purpose in life, because, like I've mentioned, for me, I want to remain humble. Success is not to me, but failure is to me as a motivating factor. To other people, and also to me in different scenarios as an overall thing, is that even if I don't succeed, I don't want to fall into despair, and that's how it is with anchoring your identity in Christ. You're more empowered to take the opportunities, to take risks, to do what you believe your purpose is. And I heard a wise person once say, Myron Golden, I think his name was, on a sermon, is that he said that success in life is to find your purpose in life, to become the person that can live out the purpose, and then implement the purpose for the benefit of others. Everything else is secondary, everything else, worldly successes, and nothing if you can't identify, become the person to fulfill your purpose and then impact others. And so if you anchor your identity in the solid foundation of Christ, which is never going to move, it's there always. You're anchoring your identity in this solid foundation, and it empowers you to actually go and do it. So I hope this video has been clear. I hope I've been able to articulate some of the points well. Honestly, I don't feel that I've articulated things as clearly as I could, so I do have a lot to learn and to reflect on myself about areas where I need to further my own research. So, I hope you found it valuable. I will re-record a video based on this topic at some point in the future, where my understanding and depth has, deepened. So, the purpose of the video is for me to get better, and if I haven't explained things if I don't feel like I've explained things to the best of my ability, it gives me an area of where I need to research further. So that's all I've got for you. See you next time.